It was the kind of night pilots are trained to love. Cold, dry air, high visibility, no clouds in sight. Perfect flying weather over the vast frozen emptiness of Alaska. Flying through that silence was a massive Boeing 747-200F, a cargo freighter belonging to Japan Airlines. The crew on board were seasoned professionals. 3 men in the cockpit, eyes forward, steady hands. Cruising at 35,000 feet, they weren't expecting trouble. But around 5:10 p.m., something strange appeared on the horizon. 2 lights, faint, then brighter. At first they thought it might be another aircraft crossing their path, but something didn't feel right. The lights were unusually sharp, and they weren't behaving like normal navigation beacons. Moments later, the lights began to move, not away from the aircraft, but toward it. They shifted positions, hovering at unnatural angles, gliding smoothly with the 747 speed. One light rose higher, the other dipped low, both keeping pace. They weren't just following, they were maneuvering, calculating, curious. The pilots watched in silence, unsure what they were seeing. Then suddenly, the 2 objects surged forward and planted themselves directly in front of the aircraft. What had started as distant glimmers were now 2 brilliantly glowing shapes, pulsing, floating. No structure, no noise, just light and something behind it, unseen. The glow filled the cockpit. Instruments flickered. The crew felt a strange heat. They knew this wasn't normal. It wasn't weather. It wasn't another aircraft. Something was there. And then, just as suddenly as they arrived, the 2 lights vanished, gone in a split second, not drifting away, not fading, just gone. The crew sat in silence, stunned. But before they could fully process what happened, something else appeared. Something much, much larger. Out of the blackness beside the plane, a massive, dark object emerged. It wasn't glowing. It wasn't blinking. It wasn't trying to hide. It was simply there. A silent, motionless form trailing alongside the 747. The captain described it later as being the size of 2 aircraft carriers. Its shape was hard to define. Obscure, oval, bulky, like a giant walnut in the sky, with a complex layered surface. They had never seen anything like it. Not in war, not in training, not in decades of flying. It didn't communicate. It didn't accelerate. It didn't fall away. It just followed, matching the aircraft's every move like it was watching. The crew radioed Anchorage air traffic control. They were given permission to deviate course and descend. Maybe the object would disengage. Maybe it was tied to altitude. But even after changing direction and dropping altitude, the object kept its distance. Never closer, never farther, just locked in with them. For over 30 minutes, Anchorage ATC couldn't see anything on radar, but military radar nearby at Elmendorf Air Force Base later confirmed an unknown object was trailing Japan Airlines Flight 1628 that night. It wasn't a weather balloon, it wasn't a shadow or ghost signal. Something with mass and presence was there, though no one could say what. When the flight finally reached its destination safely, the pilots filed a detailed report. The captain, a former fighter pilot with over 10,000 flying hours, submitted drawings and a full account of what he saw. He didn't backtrack, he didn't hesitate, he was clear. There was something up there with us, and it was not from this earth. His report was forwarded to the Federal Aviation Administration. The FAA conducted interviews, cross-checked radar data, and confirmed that unusual aerial activity had been recorded. The case was taken seriously, at least at first, but then came the consequences. The captain was removed from active flight duty shortly after the incident. The official reasoning: a need to evaluate his mental fitness. But many believe he was grounded not because he made a mistake, but because he told the truth. To this day, no one has been able to explain what exactly followed Japan Airlines Flight 1628 through the sky that night. It wasn't a drone, it wasn't another plane, it was an atmospheric light. It was something else, and it wasn't afraid to show itself. Years later, the incident remains one of the most credible UFO encounters in aviation history. 3 trained professionals, a state-of-the-art aircraft, multiple radar systems, all confirming something was there. And then it wasn't. Whatever it was, it came from the cold, dark corners of the sky. It approached, it observed, and then it vanished, leaving behind a mystery that no one has been able to solve. Sometimes the skies aren't empty, and sometimes something is watching